introduction, Jean. I live such a different life now here in Washington that sometimes that doesn't even sound like me, actually. Welcome, honored guests, veterans, families, and thank you to the Vietnam Veterans of America and the Combat Veterans International for inviting me to speak here today. I am truly honored to be here. I will use my notes just like Jean did because I can't sing like Ron does beautifully. Thank you for that. But I will use my notes, and I apologize for that. I do like to memorize things when I speak typically, but this is a little bit more emotional to me, so I wanted to write it down. Words could never adequately describe the depth of emotion and gratitude I feel for those who have given their lives in military service to our nation. Memorial Day is a day to honor those who have died in military service, regardless of the way in which they passed, in combat or in training for combat. All have made the ultimate commitment to go into harm's way and to protect our freedoms. So let's observe a moment of silence and use our hearts to honor and thank and remember their commitment to all of us. On Memorial Day, the flag is raised briskly to the top of the staff and then solemnly lowered to the half-staff position, where it remains only until noon. Some of you may be aware of this protocol or this tradition. If you're not aware why it's raised to the full staff the remainder of the day is twofold. The half-staff position remembers the more than 1 million men and women who gave their lives in service of their country. At noon, their memory is raised by the living, who resolve not to let their sacrifice be in vain, but to rise up in their stead and continue the fight for liberty and justice for all. For most U.S. citizens, Memorial Day is simply a news story or reason to have a picnic. Yet to us here today, Memorial is a very personal day. Today is particularly personal for all of us who have lost family or friends to military service. I'm pretty sure many of us in this gathering have. For me personally, I have lost two of my very best friends to combat aviation training accidents. As a community, today we are gathered to remember the sacrifices of these fine Americans. As we remember them, let's never forget their sacrifice and the fact that we remain in a free society. As we live in freedom, we must continue to make progress in finding those who were lost in combat and to care for those who in service to the military, and also those who suffer with wounds inflicted by their service. It is particularly encouraging to me as a member of the Whatcom County Veterans Advisory Board and the Washington State Women's Veteran Advisory Committee to be part of the wonderful work that's being done in this vein. Two examples are the current efforts in Whatcom County to almost completely eradicate veteran homelessness, and the recent approval of federal legislation allowing a group of female World War II military pilots to be interred at Arlington National Cemetery, giving them full rights. However, there's still so much to be done. Personally, I give my time to these veterans organizations and provide a series of videos titled Achieve Wellbeing to empower living with maximum comfort, health, and happiness. You can find these on YouTube if you're interested. You just have to Google my name, Dr. Lisa Kirk Brown. I hope to motivate veterans specifically and their families to optimize their days, no matter what their ability or inability. We are fortunate to have in our community individuals such as Jean and Yvonne Goldsmith, Jim Pace, Ed Summer, Mike Novotny, Gary Lindsay, Jim Stilts, and others, Ken, who have dedicated so much of their time and energy improving the quality of life of veterans, families, and devoted to public service. I sincerely hope in my retirement to be like them, as we all should. As I was preparing for the honor of speaking to you today, I couldn't help but reflect on my own time in military service. A few weeks after 9/11, I reported to duty at the Pentagon for the Office of the Secretary of Defense, where Memorial Day will forever have great significance due to the 125 casualties occurring there from the horrendous acts of terror on 9/11. During my 4 years at the Pentagon, I was regularly required to meet Secretary Rumsfeld at the Potomac entrance to give him information. On my way to meet him one afternoon, I came across an extremely large painting of a battle scene that I had never seen before. It was in a stairwell because I was rushing. I didn't pay attention very often, I was very busy, but it was in a stairwell on my way to meet him. At the bottom of the painting, the words of Isaiah 6:8 were etched on a metal plaque. The words read, "Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, 'Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?' I said, 'Here I am, send me.'" This sums up military service, a willingness to go where you are sent, regardless of political motivation, danger, or personal gain. We owe a great debt of gratitude to those who answered the call to military service and to their families who serve alongside of them. We specifically honor Whatcom County residents who have given their precious life in Vietnam and other conflicts, and their families who lost them at such a young age. We ask for blessing on these families. We thank God that some closure has come in finding some of the remains of these lost soldiers, sailors, and airmen. We pray for the families of the still missing. It matters not what you believe about politics or religion. The fact remains that these brave men and women answered a call to put their lives at risk for us. They had no part in the decision to go to war. They simply acknowledged a need to protect American values and went. From the Revolutionary War to current day, we owe these servants thanks for our ability to speak freely, vote, and to continue to enjoy all the rights outlined in the Constitution. As we reflect on the sacrifices of those who have given their lives to protect our freedoms and the freedoms of the current presidential candidates, let us also remember our responsibilities to them and to those who are currently serving today. It's a little known fact, but roughly 1% of the adult population in America currently serves in the armed forces. 1%. This removes much of the impact of that service from the remaining 99% of the adult population. However, we can commit to remembering them. If nothing else, I beg you to remember my son Noah, currently serving as a second lieutenant at Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska. And I ask you to remember the other Whatcom County residents still serving in military service. Let us resolve not to let the sacrifice of those who have died in military service to America to be in vain. Let us rise up in their stead and continue the fight for liberty and justice for all. Let us honor them daily with gratitude, political engagement, service through volunteering, financial commitment, and through enjoying our comfortable and happy lives. Enjoy today. I agree with Jean 100%. Don't we owe them that? Let not their sacrifice be in vain. Finally, in the infamous words of the Zac Brown Band, we can all say, I thank God for my life, for the stars and stripes. May freedom forever fly, let it ring. Sorry. Salute the ones who died, the ones who gave their lives, so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love. Sorry. Thank you for being here today to show your support to the families of our fallen veterans and for your continued support to the military members and veterans. Please enjoy the rest of this ceremony. Have a wonderful day and make God bless America.
Thank you, Lisa. And I want to